Hey everyone, this is Ari Silverman with the Venture Philly Group. Today we are going to be going over the most common steps in a real estate transaction in the state of Pennsylvania. As always, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor, Mortgage Country. And with no further ado, let's get started. So first things first, you're gonna want to talk with a real estate agent. The reason for this is they're not just someone who's there to collect a commission check. In fact, they're there to coordinate and connect you with all the right resources and the right approach and negotiation that will get you the right property for the right price, one that makes sense for you. What that agent can do, for example, is connect you with title, a lender like Mortgage Country, or a transaction coordinator so that you can make sure that every step remains in front of you and you don't drop the ball anywhere along the way. Speaking of that connection, a good agent will have a trusted lender. The reason for this is that once they connect you with that lender that they know can get the deal done, that serves your best purposes and will give you sound advice on what the best strategy moving forward is, you really want to get a pre-approval or at least start a conversation with a lender. Even if you're buying today or in a year or in 5 years, frankly, you need to understand where you are now as far as buying power and affordability. And maybe if you are buying in a year, great. How to effectively increase your buying power and put yourself in a better position, no matter what happens with the market in that 12-month span. And now for the fun part, we get to go find your home or investment property. So what we're gonna do now is understand your criteria. As simple as beds, baths, square footage, does it have a fireplace, roof deck, yard? Really, there's a lot of criteria we can search for. And this is the part where we go into homes and set private showings. Of course, open houses are a great way to spend a casual Saturday or Sunday or evening on a Thursday. But the reality is we need you to be entering into these homes with a bird's eye view of what is going on in that neighborhood and what listings meet your criteria emotionally, not just on a piece of paper. I don't know how you've done it, but you have found in a state with no oceans, your white whale, the home you want to submit an offer on. So here are some documents you might come across and likely will come across if you are submitting an offer in Pennsylvania. There's the agreement of sale, which identifies not only what you're offering to buy the property for, but also the timeline and some contingencies of the transaction. There, if the home is built before 1978, is going to be a lead-based paint disclosure you'll have to sign, along with a lead-based paint brochure describing the harms of lead paint. There will be a seller's disclosure, which is in fact there to protect the seller, and it's there to identify any repairs, problems, really how the house works as far as the seller and owner understand it of the property that you're going to have to sign. You're going to provide that pre-approval letter if you are getting a mortgage, along with some buyer financial information, especially if you're offering cash for the property. You're going to have to, prove that you can provide those funds. And of course, we can't go into the nitty-gritty details about everything, but I recommend you consult with your realtor about these things because you will hear about them. And of course, if you have any further questions or want to reach out to Venture Philly, don't hesitate to ask. And now to discuss the elephant in the room. We're doing a lot of zoology analogies today, but I digress. Your offer might not be accepted, and it really might not be just because you didn't offer enough money. There are certain contingencies that might, and I would recommend, be built into your offer for the most part, such as an inspection where if the repairs or the suggestions from that inspector don't come back the way you want and the seller isn't willing to budge on that, pay for the repairs, pay for seller's assist, something like that. And frankly, there might be another offer on the table that could not be for as much money, but could be a much cleaner transaction. They waived contingencies. They offered cash, so there's no appraisal gap problems. These are things that you want to be aware of and why your offer might not be accepted. Or there might not be another offer and they might just not like what you have offered. So be aware that they have the right to refuse and counter offer or sit on their hands and wait for you to submit another one that's more favorable to the seller. Happy days, your offer has been accepted. The next steps are you're going to be dropping off your Earnest money deposit. This can be in the form of one or two or maybe several installments, but this is what money you're putting down that helps the seller understand that you're serious. Meaning, if you don't cancel or terminate the contract based on what you've outlined in the agreement of sale, for example, that inspection that's coming up, they are keeping that money. It's money down for a reason. This is also when you can expect to officially have your mortgage application submitted. So you're going to be signing a lot of documents. It's almost like buying a home or a property is a big deal. And you're going to be in full contact with that trusted lender that you've been connected with through family, friends, or your real estate agent. So a very common contingency that you would be recommended to have from your buyer's agent is the home inspection contingency. This is an opportunity and a time span where you have a third-party inspector, maybe recommended by your real estate agent, to come in and tell you how the house works and doesn't work. Certain things to keep in mind over time. Maybe the furnace is not quite at the end of its life expectancy, but you should be aware of that in 3-4 years. It could be dying out. This is also where you have credibility when you're coming back during the inspection negotiation time period to say, hey, X, Y, Z don't work, but we're really only worried about A. We would like you, the seller, owner, to either repair that a certain way or to provide us with something called seller assist to cover some of the closing costs of the transaction so that you, the buyer, can cover it yourself. Along with an inspection, which is very common during most real estate transactions, would be an appraisal. This is a third party coming in to make sure that you are paying a fair price for the home. Happy days if they appraise it for more than you paid for. That's instant equity in your home. If they appraise it for exactly what you offered it, great, you paid a fair price. But there are certain circumstances where they appraise it below what you offered. Now, this could have been covered by an appraisal gap contingency that you set into place in the original agreement of sale, but in this reality where it shocked you and caught you by surprise, this is another opportunity to renegotiate the deal. The reason being, this mortgage you might have is dependent on it appraising. So you're either covering the gap yourself, having the seller cover it, or meeting in the middle somehow. But again, if you don't come to an agreement, this is another opportunity for you to back out of the deal, properly terminating it and getting your earnest money back as well. Don't worry, I am almost done talking. We're almost at settlement day, but I want to take this opportunity to explain to you that mortgage lender and title have not been sitting on their hands this whole transaction. Whether you have a 14, 30, 60, 90-day close, they have been working nonstop behind the scenes to make sure that not only your financing is up to snuff, but also the title that the seller is selling can be cleanly transferred over to you. But moving on, we are now at final walkthrough. This is basically, I like to schedule it day before or day of. This is your opportunity to make sure your requests have been met and the house is still standing. It is what you agreed upon buying. So making sure there's no squatter in the Potter or making sure that the repairs were actually made. And beyond that, that's kind of when I get to take a step back and allow title at settlement to take over. We're there, final walkthrough, house didn't burn down in the meantime. We are showing up to take a cheesy picture, dangling keys in front of you. But first, the best part about working with a title agency, in my opinion, is who's there at settlement with you. Now, I, as a buyer's agent, really don't have anything to do except get you water, keep the atmosphere light, and I've been holding your hand the whole time, might as well hold your hand until the end. But this title agent is going to be able to walk you through all the documents, explain everything properly to you because there is a lot of paperwork. And whether you do a hybrid closing, some documents online, or all manual in front of you, this is the final step. You are signing and buying a home. So you're gonna have to bring a photo ID and some other things that title might recommend you bring, such as certain check types to make sure that the final funds are either in your account or that you can pay for at settlement, so you can in fact sign over that home. And now, the cheesy picture. So there you have it. That is a step-by-step guide on the most basic and I would say common transaction items during purchase of real estate in Pennsylvania. I've been your host, Ari Silverman. If you found this video helpful or you just liked the look of my face, don't forget to like and subscribe. We have videos coming out weekly. I hope you have a wonderful day.